The way we did the situational analysis was to look at all sort of data from the school, NAPLAN results, HSC results, attendance data, suspension data, and as well we wanted, I guess, some subjective information as well, and opinions from students and staff and parents as well. So that's why we undertook the Tell Them From Me survey. Yeah, I guess something that came through from parents, students and teachers, I guess, was about along the lines of positive relationships and how the teachers and the students work together to work towards some common goals. So they were, I guess, commonalities. Differences that we found, we were quite surprised by some of the data that came through from the parent survey. Particularly for some staff that had been here for quite some period of time, I guess you develop a perception about your school, and if that's not necessarily matched by the feedback that we're getting from the parents, then we have to look into why there is that discrepancy there and look at how we can change positively some of those areas as well. Particularly in response to the parent data was the need to communicate very actively with the parents. So we're putting a lot of focus into technology and communicating with parents through technology, through the website, through text messaging, through a phone app to try and keep them involved in student learning, because that was some data that came out of the survey that the parents weren't able to be actively involved in the student learning. And talking to our P&C and some parents, once we revealed that data, sometimes parents didn't feel that they had the skills, knowledge or understanding to help the students. They also related that school's very different these days to when they went to school, and they don't necessarily have the understanding about assessment tasks and that sort of thing as well. So along those lines we look to put all of our scope and sequences and assessment tasks on Moodle, which would be accessible through our school website, so the parents would know when their students are doing assessment tasks, when they're due, and they would have access to those tasks so that they could help them. Another thing that we're looking at doing through our plan is to promote the positive successes of the school. So the newsletter is going to be increasingly important. We've employed a dedicated person to work on managing the website and the school bag app, so that we're getting those positive messages out to the parents and the students. So it's promoting what the school's doing well, but also supporting parents to assist their students in their learning. Okay, we took upon the advice that it needed to be very structured. So I guess the first thing that we did was to familiarise ourselves with the survey. So we made sure we went in and had a good look and understood what was involved with the survey. And we made sure that when we brought the students in, it was all in a very structured environment. The important thing was that we emphasised to, I guess, all parties, our parents, students and staff, why we were doing the survey, why it was important, and that it was going to be part of our school planning for that year as part of the situational analysis, but also for the 3 years following that we would be doing it each and every year. So after reviewing the survey, you know, we had students completing the survey within a range of time. Some got through it quite quickly. Some really spent a lot of time, particularly with the open-ended feedback and giving us quite detailed responses to some of the questions. But you know, we had in total 97% of our student cohort do the survey, which was excellent. We felt that it was very important to see it as a student voice, a way that they could communicate their thoughts on the school. We were reasonably happy with our response rate to the parent survey. We thought we can certainly do better in the future, and I guess a lot of that's the continuous follow-up. Some of the things that we found worked really well was correspondence by email. We also found text messaging to be very effective. We found that we would send out a text message and we'd get X number of parents responding. A week or two later we might send out another text message and you'd notice straight away that you'd get, you know, another 10, 15, 20 responses from parents. So we found that to be very effective. We talked about what we might do in the future to try and get even more parents involved. There were suggestions around parent-teacher evenings and trying to target specifically people there. We realised, being an online survey, that we would need to have some technology available so that we could explain to the parents that we only need 15 minutes of your time. If you can come along here, fill out this information, it will be very valuable for our school. But we also promoted it through our newsletter, through our P&C, and through other programs that we're running with parents at that time within the school. So we feel that we got enough parents responding that we've got some really quality information that we can make some good informed decisions on. But obviously the target each year is to improve, so we'd be looking at certainly boosting those numbers each and every year. So I've written into the school plan that one of our measurement strategies is going to be to look at the Tell Them From Me survey data year on year as an improvement measure, because we can look at all of our external data like NAPLAN results and HSC results and attendance rates, but we're really looking forward to that subjective information coming through from the survey, and I guess getting that feedback that we are making a difference in the measures that have been identified, and it will give us a really good guide about what those results in the first year meant from our school context. And we're going to have something year on year to be able to compare that against. So through our school plan, that we'll be looking at that data very closely when we do the survey in term 3 this year, compare the two, and then do that as an ongoing process and try and work out where we're making the difference. And if we find that some of the measures are quite static or they're not improving as much as we would like, then we need to, I guess, adjust our plan and approach things a little bit differently.